got the red dot?
Yes.
All right, scan the audience real quick, please. I'll show you. Do you mind standing up for a second? Please.
Sure.
Can everybody look at these two people standing over here in the corner? There's 10 audience members here. There's two people right there. A sexual violence survey conducted by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention concluded that 1 in 5 women are sexually assaulted sometime in their life. And it's displayed on the board here. This is 20%. So that's 2 out of 10 people here. You can have a seat if you like. Thank you. I'm Jonathan Berta, and today I'm going to discuss how sexual harassment and sexual assault is a issue all over America that needs to be intervened. First, we're going to talk about these 3 main points here. What is sexual harassment and sexual assault? Why our culture accepts it, and things that we can do to change that culture. I've completed the Army Sexual Harassment Assault Response and Prevention training. I am awaiting my national certification to become a sexual assault victim advocate. My main resources were a mic interview with Honorable Joe Biden on the issues with college campuses' sexual assaults, a CNN online article about Brock Turner, and some stats that I collected from the Center of Disease and Control Prevention. To start, we'll talk about what is sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is unwanted advances that request, verbal request, or physical contact, sexual in nature. Some verbal would be cat calls saying, "Hey mama," stuff like that. Nonverbal could be just doing sexual gestures with your hands towards people. Physical contact could be if you're standing in the doorway, not allowing someone to go through, forcing them to brush against you as they're going by. There's 2 types of sexual harassment. Quid pro quo, which would be, if you do this sexual favor for me, you might get that promotion. This for that. The other type is hostile environment, which would just be in your dwelling, your house, where you work, just in public, just making them feel uncomfortable, giving them those sexual advances that make them feel like they can't just live a normal life. Sexual assault is sexual contact that is through force, threat, or abuse of authority, and that doesn't without consent. It must contain some sort of physical contact, and we're going to talk about consent for a second. That's a freely given arrangement between 2 people to conduct that sexual act. A person underage cannot give consent. An intoxicated person cannot give consent. Now that you understand what sexual harassment and assault is, we're going to talk about why we as society accept it. If you look at media, Facebook, music videos, just all sorts of different media type of video games, it all glorifies sexual acts. We learn at an early age that it's okay to do these things. It's displayed on TV. Especially young males, they learn that, they're going to go out for the night and get the prey of the night and try to prey on young women that are vulnerable. And then if they do succeed, that's celebrated by their peers. An example of how messed up sexual assault is viewed by our society is Greenberg and Short from the CNN article about Brock Turner. They discuss that Brock Turner, he sexually assaulted this young girl in an alleyway. She was found unconscious. The 2 guys chased her off. He was only sentenced to 6 months in jail, and he got out serving only 3 months. Another reason why it's accepted in our society today is just fear of reprisal. If you stand up for someone that's been being called these names, the other guy looks at you saying, "Oh, have a sense of humor. I didn't mean anything by it. It was a compliment," and they look at you like you're the bad guy for not accepting that behavior. And victim blaming. A lot of times victims are made to feel like it was their fault. They're asked, well, you shouldn't have been wearing that. You provoked it. Or you shouldn't have been out at this time. You know better than that. It's not the victim's fault. And then another thing that why it's accepted is men don't think they can be sexually assaulted. They don't accept that it does happen to other men. Men won't report it because they feel like it's going to take away their masculinity. Now that we know some of the issues behind why we accept sexual assault in our society, we can think of some solutions to try to fix it. We can create a new culture for the future. We need to get rid of pluralistic ignorance. If you thought something was wrong, you don't just brush it off. It's probably, if you saw something, probably everybody else in that area, for the most part, is going to think that that was wrong also. You're not the only one. You need to be able to stand up and tell people that, hey, what you did there, that's not right to call somebody that. We need to stop victim blaming. Interview with Mike, Joe Baden tells us how women think, what did I do? And then he goes on to state, there is never any circumstance where a woman is sexually assaulted where it's and we just generally need to understand no means no, and we need to portray the information to others that might not think it's right, or that think it is right. So let's review. Today we went over what sexual assault and sexual harassment is, the issues of why it's accepted today in our culture, and some ways that we can change the culture for our future. At this rate, most of us have children in this room, or will most likely have children in the room. Our children are going to be sexually assaulted. It's statistically, one or two of them in this room will be. So help me and everybody else change that culture for the future by not accepting it. Could you rescan the audio, please?